Is it running? Alright, hello YouTube. Camera Girl just started the camera. Not the real Camera Girl. This is the artificial Camera Girl. The one that I had to hire for this video. So, Urban Treasure Hunter, I ain't stole your Camera Girl. She's still your Camera Girl. I just have Camera Girl 2. Alright. This is a VR response for Zed Outdoors. Zed is a new bushcrafter. Seems to have a really cool channel. So, I'm going to put in a VR for his contest. Not that I want to win the contest, but I want to give him a chance, get him some advertisement out there for his channel. Folks, subscribe, check him out, do something. Don't just sit there. The weather's bad. You haven't got anything else to do in Texas. Get off your cans. Alright, the reason I'm doing this inside is because the weather is terrible outside. It is yucky, rainy, cold, and miserable. So, we're doing this in the jokingly called the man cave by everybody else. I just call it my living room. So, excuse all the mess in the living room because everything is being moved into the living room to make room for people to live in the rest of the house. Alright, let's get to work here. Middle pouch. I use an Alice pack, by the way, as you can readily tell. Why? Because that's the pack I'm the most familiar with. That's the pack I'm the most comfortable with. I have an ILBE, but I still haven't gotten used to it yet. And once all the parts get here, I might actually try it. Having problems getting all the parts in at one time. So, middle pouch, bottom. I have first aid kit. Look in my videos. First aid kit is in there. I have Shemagh bandana. Multiple purposes for Shemaghs and bandanas. I can turn this into a sling in case I break my arm, or if I break somebody else's arm, which I'm considering doing with my neighbors. Alright, so I can create a sling, I can create a bandage. All of these things can be done with this, including I can chop it up and make char cloth out of it if I get really hard up. Bandana, same thing, great things. Texas, we wear them over our heads, soaked in water in the summertime, back of our neck, soaked with water, keep us cool. It can be made into char cloth, whatever. So, that goes in the middle pouch, bottom. I can easily reach it. Side pouch, this side. Water kit. Canteen lids, Mora knife. Love the Moras for camp knives. I'm not going to use it to chop with, but it is a good camp knife. Water kit. Inside the water kit is a Millbanks bag, Sawyer Mini, and a couple of bottles of water purifier. I'm not going to open the kit up and show all this because it would take, this video would last hours for that. So you know what those items are. On the bottom of my kit, attached by cords, this is my MSR -1. In other words, I took out the heavy bag, left the light bag in, and I went over to the new bug out bag with the mosquito netting over the head, because I don't like buggies. In Texas we have lots of buggies, ticks, all this kind of stuff. Hate them. Don't like ticks in my ears. Don't like trying to pull these little tiny ticks off all the time. So I wear the kit. Outside bag, empty. Why is it empty? So I can drop a bottle of water in here. I can drop a Coke in here. Actually, I can't eat Cokes. I'm diabetic. I can drop snacks in here. I can put little sandwiches, whatever I want. This is my tinder bag. If I find some nice tinder material, throw them in here. That's why that's kept empty. Top ammo bag. Brunton compass. This is not your cheap everyday compass. This compass costs over $100. It's made for geologists. That's what I are sometimes. So I have used this for years. I've had this since my college days. So this goes way the heck back. It's a great compass. Has a lot of functions. I can even do some mapping with this. So this is my favorite. This is my baby. Rides in the top outside pocket. I have spares, not this kind of spare, but a regular Via compass spare. Okay, Leatherman tool. This tool is probably older than most of you. One of the first Leathermans to come out. Multi-tool. It's the old school multi-tool. It has a pair of pliers, vice grips, not vice grips, but pliers, a pipe grip here, a little bit bigger, has a cutter, knife blade. Doesn't have 433,000 different blades that you will never use. It keeps it to a minimum. The only thing that isn't on this is a good pair of scissors. There's a pair of scissors on there, but it doesn't really work all that well. I have a Micra in my pocket. Has a great pair of scissors on it, so that handles that. Cheap flashlight. I know everybody wants to buy tactical flashlights, this, tactical flashlights, that. Excuse me, guys. When you lose them or break them, you cry tears over that equipment. This costs $3 or $4 at Walmart. Carry spare batteries for it and everything else, and I don't worry about it if I lose it. I just buy another one, $4 or $5. Give me a break. All this tactical nonsense. Most of you never get out in the woods anyway to use all that stuff. And this bag, Dave, your favorite heavy duty contractor's bags. I carry 4 of the darn things because I usually use one of them to pick up other people's trash on the way back out. Now, other bag. Cordage. Cordage, 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 cordage. Bank line. Regular paracord. Good paracord, not the cheap paracord that you find in Walmarts, places like that. No, this is good paracord. This is military grade paracord. And the bank line, Dave, I was so happy when you came up with this bank line idea. I hadn't seen that stuff since my grandfather's shrimp boat. I bought a ton of it. I use it to make nets with. I've used it to make crawfish traps with. I've used it to make all kinds of things with. So I love it, Dave. Thanks for reintroducing it to me. Inside, now I have pulled out the big bag inside. This is a GI waterproof bag that fits inside of here. That's where most of the gear sits. I'm just making sure there's nothing left in the... Oh yeah, another wet fire that should be in the fire kit. We'll go over the fire kit in just a minute. This is an Alice pack on a standard Alice frame. A lot of times I will have alternate objects slipped into these back slots in the frame and then tied off to the back. One of them will be this. This pretty much goes with me everywhere. Everybody knows what this is. I'm not going to go over it. I carry this with me because just in the off chance I might need to snack a rabbit or a squirrel or whatever. Alright, let's get this out of the way. Let's get on to bigger and better things. Alright, inside this bag, I want to pull out the very first thing on the top, always on the top, poncho to keep dry. The way weather is in Texas, we've had drought for so long, we've gotten used to not carrying things like this. Now we better carry them. No telling when it's going to rain. So I have a poncho sitting on top with extra bank line for creating a shelter if I need one in a hurry. The next thing that sits on kind of on top is my Snug Pack jungle blanket. I don't know whether you're aware of Snug Pack. Check it out in eBay. Not eBay. Check it out on Google. Go to their channel. Check out what they've got. But this jungle blanket is fantastic piece of kit. Texas being hot and sweaty and the weather changing so fast, This little thing will keep you warm in most of the different changes of temperature that we have here in Texas. Or you can just throw it off, or you can sleep on top of it. It gives you a little extra padding. Next, when I'm primitive camping, I carry a whole lot less gear than this. This is part of my cook kit when I'm primitive camping. So, this is an old skillet. It's been with me for ages and still cooks a damn fine meal, so I keep it with me. It's not very heavy. My fire kit. I'm not going to go into a fire kit. Inside of this, I have matches, ferrocerium rods. I have tins that are used for making char cloth. This is triple aught steel wool. Anything I need to make a fire is in this kit. Matches, lighters, you name it, I have it. And that's where that little pack must have slipped away. This is the second or third time I've tried to do this video today. Probably got out, snuck out before from the previous times. Okay, this is a little, I don't even know what this was used for. I think it was used for a radio or something. And anyway, it was free. I used it for a fire kit. Also has some good pine resin logs stuck in the back for your fires. So that's good. That fits in there. It's light, not much to it. It's a little bit more than I need, but then again, you cannot have enough stuff for fires. Okay, down in this stuff sack. And by the way, this is waterproof. GI, you can get these for the Alice packs. They're great. They're a little heavy. That's the trouble with Alice Pack aged equipment. It tends to be on the heavy side. But water flows right through the pack and out through the holes in the bottom. If you've got your good gear that you want dry, you keep it in the bag. It goes around the bag and out, and you're okay. My only clothes I take on 1 or 2 day trips are pairs of socks and my woolly sack, my woolly hat to go with the shemagh if it gets cold. One of those soaker towel things. These things are super. A little small. I'm trying to find a bigger one. Anybody knows where you can get a bigger one? Please PM me. Thank you. Because I'm a big guy. Cup. And you'll recognize that cup is coming from the Stanley kit, which you'll see in a minute. GI canteen with stove and cup inside. That's a backup kit. This is my one water source. I would show you my 2-liter hydration bag, but it's been loaned to somebody who's actually off somewhere in the woods, not here in Texas. All right. So canteen, right on. It doesn't normally ride in. It usually rides on the belt. That's where it was. Spare candles. Always like candles around. Candles are great things. Okay, Dave, I know everybody's going to yell at me because I didn't buy a really expensive Baca. Well, I have a Baca. My Baca comes in 2 pieces now. It's sort of broke in half, and I'm not paying that much money for a broken saw when I can get one of these. This has lasted me quite a while. It's a Timber Creek. It's not very expensive. Get them at Walmart's, get them at the hardware store, Lowe's, or wherever. And they cut just as well, if not faster, than the Baca. Got a longer blade on it. Yes, it is bulkier. I don't really care. If this breaks, folks, I throw it away. I don't worry about it. It's got a good lock on it. It doesn't close on my hands. So, I'm sorry. I know everybody's going to say, you should have the most expensive thing in the market. Sorry, I don't have that. I don't buy that. I've got another bigger saw for longer distances, for longer trips. So, this works fine. And if I need another one, I pay $9 and get another one when it gets dull. I don't buy into all that. Got to have the most expensive knife. Got to have the most expensive gear on the market. Alright, everything else fits in 2 sustainment pouches. I love these since I've found the sustainment pouches. It's new military equipment. I have just invested in several of them. These will, a lot of times when I'm going out for a short day trip, it's in good weather, I will only carry this pouch and this pouch. This pouch has my British poncho in it. It has my hammock in it and all the cordage and ropes necessary to put all that together. So that's in this pouch. The Basha's in one, and the hammock and all its equipment is in the other. So I have everything I need for shelter in this one bag. It will fit on my load-bearing vest. I add the other bag to the other side. A couple other pouches are if I really get hard up, I'll use my some of my mountain man gear and just throw a bag over my shoulder with what little food I need. I don't carry a whole lot of food with me. Most of it's dehydrated anyway. Okay, so this is my pouch that carries all or 90% of my sleeping gear. It goes with that gear right there. The poncho for ground cloth if necessary, the bivvy, the sleeping bag, the Basha, and a hammock. So I've got 2 choices. 2 choices, folks. Not one choice, but 2 folks. Okay, if you look in my videos, you will see that I have a brew kit. Well, this is a modified brew kit. This is set up for outings, longer outings. I carry Mountain Pack, Mountain House, not Mountain Pack, in my pack. This little thing, this little jar, this is a spice jar that you find in Sam's. Get some, folks, because they're great. What I'll do with this thing, right now it has condiments in it, but notice that I go to all expenses to buy my condiments from Chinese food places. Let's see, I think some of this stuff is from Taco Bell, McDonald's. Hey, hey, hey. Use your head. Anyway, this is used for when I carry beans or carry rice on longer trips. I will put rice or beans up to this point, fill the rest of it with water, or rice or beans up to this point, rice up to this point, and then 2 things of water above it. Let this thing soak in my pack. When I get to my campgrounds and get my camp set up, all I have to do, it's been soaking all day long, all I have to do is pour this into the Stanley cup, which is inside of here, and go to town. It will cook much faster. So, you've seen my Stanley cup in my video. The only additions I put in this, I will add food to this kit. And in this case, this is breakfast type foods. This is chocolate. This is grits or oatmeal. More tea bags. Utensils. Hey, and some more pine. Can't have too much pine. A spare stove. This is an Esbit stove. This is cooking oil in a steel flask. Condiments. This happens to be pounded steak that we get here. I live in Texas, so one of the advantages of living in Texas is I get exposed to Hispanic culture. The Hispanic culture, they use a lot of this dried steak, pounded up into small pieces. Great to dump in your grits, great to dump in a soup. If you've got one that doesn't have much meat in it, a little can of this will quadruple in size after you've soaked it. So that's a great thing to have. I have one long spork that it's in the pack somewhere. I didn't pull it out for some reason, don't know why. But I have this kit. This kit's a little cute little kit I got at REI. It's a spork, plus this thing has a little saw edge blade on it, and it will cut, and it's a spatula, so you can scoop your eggs out of your pan, or just, it's great. It's just a wonderful little thing. Plus I have my wonderful Boy Scout gear. Now where the pouch went, I have no idea. I think I picked these up at a Goodwill store for 50 cents or $1. Goodwill store is a great place to shop. Okay, extra foil acts as a windbreak, although I really don't need that now. This is also my tea bags and sugar sweetener. A couple of packs of coffee. This is extra in addition to what the coffee that I keep in my Stanley Cup. Stanley Cup, greatest piece of kit you can buy. Love it. Markings on it for amounts of fluids. Good lid with a drain part on it when you're doing your rice. You want to drain the water off your rice or off your spaghetti or whatever you're making. You can do it right there. I have modified my Stanley Cup. I have created a bail around the edge. When you pull everything out of here, just a second, let me pull a few things out. They're in the way. I'll show you the bales. This holds a lot of gear, folks. That's why I love it. Stanley Cup. In this little Altoids tin, I have the bail for this. This is heavy-duty aluminum wire. Just hook it up, and instantly you have a way to suspend your Stanley. Well, this might be tightened up a little tighter than that. They loosen up. You can tighten it. It won't come undone, believe me. Never had it come undone since I've started using this. And by the way, this is my second Stanley Cup. The other one was too disgusting to show. It's blacker than the inside of a coal miner's eyeball. So, you have this, and when I get it off the stove, it's nice and hot. I made a little cozy. Fits right in here. So I can hold this. Then I just pop this off, put the lid on it, and let it sit until it cools down, or all the liquid is absorbed in it. So there you go. That's how the Stanley works. And I have this is new. I just bought this off of YouTube, eBay. It's a windscreen. And I've always carried foil for my windscreens, but now I can save the foil and use it for wrapping food in to cook. And I have my own little windscreen that will fit around the Stanley Cup. And in the bottom of the Stanley is my second stove. I have the Esbit stove as a backup. I prefer this little alcohol stove. And this is spare alcohol for it. So this is a little tiny alcohol stove made out of a beer can. Love it. It's Bud. Stuff I cannot drink anymore. You may have also noticed vice grips. Great for grabbing hot things. Great for messing with repairing the bail on this and straightening the bales up to where they could be used. So that's what that is in there for. All kinds of uses for this. I have cheesecloth, lightweight, cotton. Turn it into char cloth. Use it to wipe your pans out, your dishes out. Usually there's a Brillo pad in here. That's not in here this time. Don't know why, but it's not in here. It will be back in here before the end of the day is over. Anyway, this fits in here. It also cuts down the noise. Notice, Perkins likes coffee. So, and I don't like weak coffee, so I use a couple of packs of these in 1 cup. Keep me going. This is the actual cup from the Stanley container. I keep it around because I don't like burnt lips either, but it doesn't ride in the Stanley anymore. There's not enough room for it, so I put all this other stuff in there. And I have this little cup that I can use to cook on, collect water in, whatever. It's another little cup got from Walmart for like nothing. And the little aluminum screen. You got to be careful with this thing though. I have been nipped by it a couple of times. It will bite you. It is sharp. It has very sharp edges on it, and they even warn you about that when you get it. So everything kind of nestles together. The only thing I haven't done is build a cozy for this thing. I got the material for it, just haven't figured out how to get the little arms through it and down yet. So everything fits in the brew kit. And that pretty much is that. That's my 1, 2, maybe 3 day carry. The only thing I have to add more to is add more food. I don't usually take a whole lot of food to me. I'm never hungry on camping trips all that much. Maybe at night or something like this. But, I really, during the daytime, if I can, I have a jerky or something like that to nibble on, I'm fine. I like my coffee, though. And I like my cocoa. And I like my tea. In particular, my tea. So, I tend to have a lot of that. I found these little Snap-on things at REI. I keep onion powder in it. I keep salt and pepper in it. I keep, they're stuck all over the place. Some of them are not even in here. Chili powder is another thing I take with me. I take a lot of chili powder, and Louisiana ketchup is in one of these bags. My favorite is horsey sauce that I get from Arby's. That goes in these bags. This also has some fire starting material stuck in it. Some cotton balls and some alcohol swabs that will allow you to start fires quickly. So that's my 1 day overnighter bag. A little on the heavy side. Don't mind unless I'm walking 1,000 miles, in which case I will probably go down to a load-bearing harness with my 2 sustainer pouches on it and a hydration bag hung over one shoulder, and I will be happy. The only thing I will do is probably take my water purification bag and my fire starter bag, but they fit in pouches also hung from grenade pouches and things hung from the weight-bearing pouch. Big knife for chopping. Let me grab my big knife for chopping. I usually don't have a whole lot of use for axes and things like that. I live in Texas. A number of years ago, when I was cluttering around the world with oil companies and military, I spent some time in Malaysia, and as a result, I got very attached to parangs. I have currently 2 parangs in my possession. When I go out in the woods, the other parang is also off on loan, but this is my newest parang. Comes from Condor Steel in El Salvador. It's a beautiful, beautiful blade, and believe me, what you can do with an axe in Texas, except maybe go through 14-inch trees or something like this, and I don't carry an axe big enough to go through a 14-inch tree no matter what. But I can use this blade to go through most anything. I can use this blade to baton things. The thickness is tremendous. I don't have all the statistics. Look it up. This is called, I believe, the Golok or something like that, or the Parang, whatever it is. Anyway, it's huge. Has a good swing to it. Notice lanyard, good wooden handle, doesn't slip. It's not finished with anything. I rub a little tongue oil on it every now and again when I get back in. This thing doesn't even show much use. It gets, mainly because this is not my main parang. I have another parang that I bought while I was in Malaysia. It's a $7 or $8, $10 parang. Plastic handle on it. This is a full tang handle. The other one is a rat tail handle. There's a reason for it. In Malaysia, they prefer the rat tail as to a full tang because it doesn't transfer the shock of the blade to your hand as much. There's several reasons for it. When you hit something with this, you will feel it in your hand. But the other one, not as bad. The other one is cheaper steel, not really fine steel. It's probably made out of the leaf springs of a Land Rover. And so it can be kept sharper. I mean, this thing is sharp, believe me. It is sharp enough to almost shave with, but it's a little on the large side. The other parang I have is about this long. It fits good along the outside of my pack, easily reachable over my shoulder. This thing has to, it's a bit large, so I have to fit this in a certain way down inside between the pack frame and the pack. And I have a little harness that will hold it in there in that position. So I can still reach it over my shoulder, but at the same time, I don't have to worry about it slapping and banging against my leg. I don't like that. I don't carry knives on my belt. Sorry. All you folks that carry big knives on your belt, I don't believe in that. Just bugs me. I'm not in combat anymore. I don't have to do that anymore, so the less I have banging on my belt or hanging around my waist, the better I feel about it. It's bad enough I have a pack on. Alright, so I pretty much covered everything. Thank you, YouTubers. Sorry this went on longer than I planned, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Zed, congratulations on your contest. I hope you get 300, 400 subscribers out of this deal. Please subscribe to Zed Outdoors. Okay, folks? He's just starting out. He's got a lot of good ideas. He's a good kid. Give him a break. Thank you, YouTubers.